A major New Japan name has been suspended after negative AEW commentary. Plus, WWE has confirmed a Saudi Arabia Royal Rumble for next year, and WWE is making another SmackDown change. It's all in the Cultaholic Wrestling news right now. So it was reported yesterday that popular New Japan Pro Wrestling English announcer Chris Charlton was placed on indefinite hiatus from commentary over comments he made about AEW during Wrestle Dynasty on the weekend. Fightful Selector followed this up to say it's not in fact a hiatus, it is in fact a 2-month suspension.
Yeah, Charlton made the comments across Wrestle Dynasty. Some were thinking, oh, this is going to be a big dirty storyline. AEW against New Japan Pro Wrestling. The people who've gone from New Japan to AEW getting shot down by the people like Gabe Kidd, who represents New Japan in the current day. But no, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case, Tom.
No, Charlton's negative comments, as you say, meant to be sort of paraphrasing what wrestlers like Gabe Kidd have said in the storyline, weren't taken as such. There was comments made about Kazuchika Okada during his entrance. Charlton noting that...
that was me doing the Okada flip in the back.
It was indeed. Charlton noted that Yota Tsuji believes AEW signed Okada and has, quote, become a meme that flips the bird on TV every week. Charlton also unfavorably compared AEW's Continental Classic to the G1 Climax whilst on commentary.
Yeah, and of course in that main event with Kenny Omega and Gabe Kidd, Kidd's become very anti-AEW and very pro-New Japan. He's got the gold line on his tights, the whole story about him spending lockdown over in Japan, Tanahashi getting emotional at the end of the match. That was put forward as well, but it seems like Chris might have gone a bit too far, and they tried to sort of retcon him during the show.
Yeah, so you will have noticed if you're watching Dynasty that Rocky Romero did a run-in and then just went, hi guys, I'm on commentary now. It's believed that this was a statement made, this was done by design, and I'll talk about that in a second. Rocky Romero was on comms along with Walker Stewart and Chris Charlton. And during Omega's entrance, Rocky Romero, who was on commentary, said that Omega was Japanese wrestling, a comment that Charlton took very much offense to in the match, saying, when you said it on his entrance, Rocky, I think it was hearsay to say that exactly Kenny's thoughts that yes, he did so much for this company, but to dare to Dean to say that Gabe Kidd cashes a check because of Kenny Omega is sickening. To say that he is Japanese professional wrestling is sickening. He is indelible, iconic part of it, but yet he is, but he is not bigger than this.
Ooh,
spicy.
Romero later said that Kenny Omega put the company on the map internationally, with Bullet Club and the Elite were part of the reason that New Japan grew so much in the 2010s. Charlton then responded, well, no doubt about it, and in Gabe's mind it was to grow and grow, and it was to take and take, and as soon as we have the money mark to take away some of those talents, you know who he's referencing there, well, off they go. Off goes Jay White, Will Ospreay, off goes Kazuchika Okada, and what have they done? What if they haven't done there? He's being truthful, but I think...
What have they done there that they haven't done here?
Oh, it's scathing.
Yeah, the line money mark referring to Tony Khan was one that I don't think sat particularly well. So Rocky Romero joining commentary, just to refer back to that. He wrestles for New Japan and AEW, and he's an executive with both promotions. He joined commentary mid-show. Many speculate at the behest of people backstage to try and calm down Chris Charlton to very little effect.
Yeah, Charlton was not on commentary for New Year's Dash, with Walker Stewart telling El Fantasma following a match that he wasn't at liberty to say while Charlton wasn't able to announce the show with him.
The Wrestling Observer reports that the call for Charlton to be suspended was made during the show by Bushi Road CEO Takaki Kidani, who was furious with Charlton insulting a business partner. Sources in New Japan close to the situation say they would have actually gone as far as to fire Chris Charlton had it been their call. Fightful Select have added, New Japan's claim is that AEW and Tony Khan did not have input on the suspension, but we have heard that AEW was not happy about the comments. It seems like Chris Charlton's commentary was clearly designed to kind of tell an AEW New Japan rivalry story.
Yeah.
Gabe Kidd has been the one that's been referenced in a lot of this here, because Gabe Kidd has been very scathing online about AEW, and it was like, well, why is it Gabe Kidd can do that but Chris Charlton gets wrong for doing it? I personally don't think Gabe Kidd's approach is it's somewhat heavy-handed.
Yeah.
And with Chris Charlton, I don't think it's a wrong idea to have that negative back and forth with it, but I think there's certainly some words and phrases that upset the wrong people.
Yeah, I can see where they're both coming from, both Gabe Kidd and Chris Charlton. I think it's the right way to go to get that sort of fire built up in between the two promotions. Then again, I can see it from the business perspective of a business partner not being aware of what was coming and then seeing what was coming in front of the world and then being, if they're upset, then we're upset as well. So smack on the bum for you, Chris.
I think Chris Charlton's an exceptional voice, and I think in terms of watching New Japan and the English commentary, he'll be a big miss for the next couple of months. He's back for the New Japan Cup, we understand, but I've always been a big fan of his work. He is very much a student of the game, and I can't imagine there was any deliberate malice in what he was doing. It was more furthering a story and telling a thing, but I don't think there was any deliberate malice in that, and it's a shame that it's got to this point where we see him out of action for the next couple of months.
You know what we do at Forbidden Door, though, then, do you? You know what we do?
We do Chris Charlton versus Tony Schiavone.
Tony Khan.
What are the Tonys? Give them both.
The money mark against Chris.
Oh,
alleged money mark, yeah.
The alleged money mark. We'll get Rocky Romero bursting in any minute. Obviously, we're going to keep an eye on this one for you when we know more. We'll let you know more about it at cultaholic.com. Yesterday, WWE confirmed something that was reported just before the weekend. Press release went out yesterday for the Royal Rumble of 2026.
It's going to be in Saudi Arabia, in Riyadh, to be precise. President Nick Khan, WWE President Nick Khan gave a statement saying WWE is a global enterprise and it only made sense to expand our relationship with the kingdom by bringing one of our biggest annual events to Riyadh in January of 2026. My immediate thoughts about this, Tom, does this fall into the 2 shows per year, 10-year deal, or is this an extra one?
Oh, maybe.
Because you get your crown jewels, you get King and Queen of the Ring. Is this part of that?
I'd assume it was part of the deal. I'd assume if it's a show over there, it's part of the deal. So one of the first tweets that I saw about this was from NXT's Wendy Chu.
Brilliant.
Who, quote, retweeted the announcement on social media with a throwback picture of her in a full-body lobster pajama onesie, captioned, "My Royal Rumble 2026, fit." Yes. I like that.
Yes, it was good.
You know
the Wendy Chu.
We know what Wendy Chu is intimating by that, and of course, we're going to see. I wouldn't be shocked if we see lots of outfits like that in the Rumble of 2026.
Why not? It covers all the necessary bits.
I mean, there is a fashion department. There is a clothing company somewhere that is about to get a hell of an order drop on their doorstep. A 30-woman Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia. Let's move to SmackDown, where this past week's show, 3 hours of SmackDown, suffered multiple rewrites. This was first reported by WrestleVotes and then confirmed by Paul, "No, you don't want me in the photograph," Levesque himself in an interview with Pressbox.
Yeah, he didn't go into detail as to who and what was changed, but revealed last Friday's show was written, then word came out about a talent was out of action, so it was rewritten, only for another talent to be taken out of the equation due to sickness, forcing yet another rewrite. And sitting here thinking about last week's show, I can't think of what it might have been.
Yeah, I couldn't either. I watched back and looked through some bits again, and I went, I don't know what it was meant to be, but I thought a lot of the show flowed really well. I enjoyed the pacing of it, and big win for Tiffy.
Big win for Tiffy.
Whether
indeed.
That was pulled forward due to an absence of some sort.
Yeah, potentially. Who knows? I'm sure more will come out about it in the coming days and weeks.
With the 3-hour SmackDown, don't get used to it. Triple H told Pat McAfee on the Pat McAfee show that it's going to be changing again, moving back to 2 hours later in the year. He had a good sit-down chat with Pat and co about the length of the show and how it's going to be based on what the show needs per week, basically.
Oh, I feel big and clever, Tom, because on the Cultaholic Wrestling podcast predictions, I was like, Netflix Raws and SmackDowns and whatever's on there won't actually be 3 hours every single week. It'll be, dictating what is on the show.
Yeah.
If you've got a big main event, it'll go over 2 hours. If you've got nothing, around about 2 hours, it'll be fantastic.
And this is what Triple H says. He says it depends what you want to put into the show. Sometimes in 3 hours, there's a little bit of fat on the show that you can trim off if you need to. Sometimes with a 2-hour show, we wish we could have put more in there. Somewhere between that 2 and 3 hour window is the sweet spot. And that was after that he revealed the SmackDown will indeed switch back to 2 hours later in the year.
June, I think he said.
Okay.
Yes.
So, and I kind of prefer a 2-hour show.
Oh, yeah.
If given the choice. But you know what? There's some people that love a 3-hour show. Some people love a 2-hour show. Maybe a 2.5-hour show is the way to go.
Yeah, and if you've got a big main event, give it more time. If The Rock wants to go long with his promo, then you've got another half hour there to fill if you need it.
You haven't got to worry about upsetting The Rock by saying, mate, we've got to cut to the Big Bang Theory. You've got to go. Those days are far behind us. Raw has debuted on Netflix. We broke down everything that happened in that a little earlier on today. Away from all of that, over the weekend at Wrestle Dynasty, Mercedes Moné won the Rev Pro British Undisputed Women's Championship.
Really slack trousers. All those belts. How many belts do you need, Mercedes Moné?
She's got a lot of them. But what does this mean for the British wrestling scene and for Rev Pro, more importantly? I had a lovely chat with Andy Quilden, who's the owner and promoter of Rev Pro, about what Mercedes Moné's title win means. He also gives an explainer as to what it means to be the Queen of Southside, because a lot of people commented on the fact that when Mercedes Moné beat Mina Shirakawa, she also got the Queen of Southside Championship, and people went, well, what's that? Andy's explained it all for you. He's good like that. And we look ahead to what's planned with Rev Pro. We talk about how you build good partnerships between multiple promotions and stuff like that. And maybe a little sneak preview of what Mercedes Moné's year has in store as part of Rev Pro as well. It's on the podcast feed. Anything you want to play?
Hold and Give 4 p.m. I don't know when this video is coming out.
Tuesday, isn't it?
It might even be happening right now. So just go to the Hold and Give YouTube channel. I'll be there doing some EAFC 2-5 with Sunderland.
Mighty Sunderland, which are a massive club, so you want to watch it on a big telly. For the very latest wrestling news at any time, you can check out cultaholic.com. They do cheesy chips for £1. Yeah. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.